And welcome to the first broadcast, or recording, I guess, as you'd put it, to Midnight Riders Sports and Stuff podcast. My name's Johnny. That's my brother Chuck.
Hello.
We're from Oklahoma City. We been sports fans our entire lives. Pretty big into professional wrestling as far as the fandom goes. Sports board games, raised and brought up on them. We thought we've had a lot of folks, friends, family, and whatnot tell us we needed to do a podcast because we're both pretty strongly opinionated about sports and other stuff, and so we thought, all right, we'll take the the challenge and we'll give it a shot. So this is our first attempt, so bear with us if we have to have a glitch here and there or learn how to do these types of things. But our plan here is to kind of do one a week, maybe more if we see the need to do things more than once. We may jump in that as well. We're going to follow what's up in the world of sports and any other thing we want to jump into as we take this journey down the road. Our goal is to do this unedited. We want to run through every night, an hour or so, and just go nonstop. Try not to edit anything in or out. We do this in my outbuilding out here, and that's why we're kind of bundled up. It's a little cold here in Oklahoma this evening. But I got some dogs, so if they start barking, we might have to pause every now and then. But if somebody comes over to visit, whatever, it's kind of a little gathering area we have over here. Got a pool table and whatnot, so if somebody comes in and starts shooting pool, we might have to stop and make fun of them for not shooting very well. But anyway, that's what we're all about here. Chuck, you got anything to add?
Well, first of all, thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoy it. Stick around for a while. A lot of the things we'll be talking about, we're going to do a lot of comparisons. We'll compare today's sports to past sports. You're going to hear back in my day and back when I used to play a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Just because of how things are today. And one of the reasons we're doing this podcast is people are tired of hearing us complain about certain things today, but some good, some bad. We'll be talking about that a lot. You'll get our own personal takes on our own personal experience. My brother, Johnny, did a lot of officiating in youth sports. I coach youth sports for 15 to 20 years, all the way up from little bitty little league all the way up to freshman high school.
Never had the chance to officiate one of his games, but I'm sure I'd have kicked his ass out.
No, all the way up to
just saying.
Freshman high school travel baseball teams and that kind of deal. We will cover all sports, section of probably soccer. You probably won't hear any soccer talk here.
Because we don't know soccer.
No, nothing at all.
Nothing.
It's nothing, but we will cover everything. There will be no politics. There will be no religion.
We stay away from those types of things. We want this to be fun and entertaining and have a good time doing it. And, we hope you follow along.
And for those who are around here, like I said, we grew up and born and raised in Oklahoma City. We'll cover some local sports when it's necessary. Local sports here are big, just like it is everywhere else. We'll cover that as much as we can also. So if you got any interest in that, please tune in for that. We'll cover entertainment as far as movies, TV. Downtime in sports is coming up, so we'll have plenty to talk about, plenty to discuss. So
we just want you to like and follow and make comments. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about. If we hit a topic that's kind of sensitive to you or you got an opinion about it, put it in the comments. Let us know what's going on. We'll backtrack and talk about your opinion as compared to ours. And a lot of times we might actually admit you might be right, we might be wrong. Yeah. But anyway. So let's get started here, Chuck. First time here. We wanted to start at the first of the year, so 2024 hit us. Let's just start right now with NCAA. They're almost done football. What'd you think about the season? Where'd it go with you?
It was an interesting season. With the change that was coming down the road with all the conference stuff and with all the the new NILs and the portals and everything else that's been going on. It was a pretty good season though.
Well, I liked it. I mean, it was entertaining. I mean, college football is what it is. It's turned more into an entertainment thing rather than colleges. I mean, I don't know what the graduation ratio is anymore, but
because they don't talk about it.
Nobody talks about it,
and not until they get ready to fire somebody.
When you mention the NIL stuff with the kids transferring so much, it's starting to get. In my opinion, it's turned into a joke. oh yeah, here we go. Back in the day, I mean, whenever they would recruit a kid, he was there for 4 years. You as a local fan of whatever college or university you
Right.
were, you followed these kids. You followed them from whenever they were freshmen. Usually they set out, they got the red shirt, then they go they're a red shirt freshman, and they're or whatever, and you'd play 4 good years. And I kind of miss that.
No, I miss
I
it
kind of
too.
miss it.
Unfortunately, it's never coming back. They've
No,
drifted
no,
off into this now.
no, yeah.
Especially I mean, like, look at the conferences. The way it's built now and the TV revenue that's, everybody's going to the super conferences. I mean, just this year,
Yeah.
Big Ten. I mean, let's just talk about the conference. The Big Ten, OSU and Ohio State. Sorry, wrong OSU. Ohio State and Michigan.
Right.
Penn State. Your big teams, your big ones out of there. Everybody's looking to transfer and go into these conferences because
Sure.
of what they're going to turn into.
Sure. And everybody knows. I mean, I don't know. I mean, every conference. If you look at every conference, I mean, you talk about Michigan, you talk about Ohio State, talk
Right.
about Penn State. Personally, I don't think Penn State was on the level
I don't
of
either.
Ohio State and Michigan. You look at the schedule they played. That I don't think they should have been a top 10 team. I mean, I don't think they beat anybody to be considered a top 10 team.
Yeah, no.
And
It was a 2-team conference.
I still think you've got Ohio State and Michigan than everybody else.
Right.
And if we go to, say, the SEC, if we move to the SEC, I still think this year you had Alabama, you had Georgia, and you had everybody else.
Right.
I mean, I don't think
a little bit of LSU, a little bit of LSU, but then again, you're talking about the supposed power conference of the world, and they're not in the championship.
Well, yeah.
Again,
well, we'll see.
Thankfully.
But they were in the playoff.
Well, they're in the playoff
thanks to the committee.
Okay. Well,
I mean, let's get there in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
I
talk.
was gonna say,
Let's
you want to dive into that now?
No.
Wait a second.
Let's look at the ACC. I mean,
Right.
the ACC. We were in the same situation. You had Florida State,
Correct.
who did they have a strong schedule? No.
Well, no,
I don't think they
because they're in the ACC, but they did what they're supposed to do.
Well, they did. They did. They beat everybody they were supposed to. They beat
Exactly.
everybody they played.
Exactly.
And then the same with the Big 12. You look at the Big 12. You got the Big 2 and the other 10.
Right.
Just adding adding your BYU, adding your UCF, adding these other teams. Did it make a difference? No. Will it eventually make a difference? Maybe.
I think it will. Once OU
Maybe.
and Texas gets out of there, it's going to become a
Sure, but
a lot more competitive.
If we talk about this year, though, you're still looking at OU and Texas,
Right.
And OSU tried. Right. OSU, I think OSU, Oklahoma State fan, by the way, for anybody out there, Oklahoma State. Sorry, but they tried. I think they overperformed than what they were supposed to do. So I don't think they should have been mentioned in the top. The OU Texas situation, and then you look at the Pac-12. Where they were this year, and it was all supposed to be USC. Well,
yeah, that worked out well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it ended up being once again Oregon, and then whoa, here comes Washington.
That nobody gave credit for, and here they are sitting in the national championship
Every week, nobody gave them
Right.
credit.
The whole talk was
they kept saying no.
The whole talk was wait till they play Oregon, then they beat them. Then it was wait till they play Oregon again. They're not going to beat them twice, and they beat them again.
They beat them again. I mean,
then they're underdogs against Texas, and they beat Texas.
That's true.
They're fun to watch, and they're good.
Yes,
and I honestly,
and they're coached well.
I honestly think they're going to win it. I honestly think they'll beat Michigan.
Really?
I don't know if
you think they'll beat Michigan.
I do. I think they'll beat Michigan.
Why?
I did. Phoenix, their quarterback's just too good. Michigan's defense is awesome. I get it.
I tell you what, I don't know, man. I might have to argue with you on the first thing. Our first argument. I don't.
They haven't played anybody with the weapons that Washington's got. Alabama was good, but Monroe is not as good a quarterback as Phoenix. There's no way.
Well, Alabama.
Washington's. They haven't faced.
Well, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this now. We might as well say it. I don't think Alabama should have been there. They should have lost to Auburn.
Yes.
One miracle play,
right.
and all of a sudden they're one of the top 4 teams in the country.
Right.
I completely disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I know they needed to get an SEC team in the Final Four. They always have to put somebody in the championship playoff.
Sure.
By the way, this is today's date is January 6th, And I'm watching the Pittsburgh Steelers on the same. They just scored over there. So
Yeah, they did.
he's a Steeler fan.
Yes,
so
they
I had
did.
to tell you, can't
We
see
still
the
got
TV.
hope.
It's right there. So
We still got hope.
we'll get to that in a minute. But I don't think Alabama should have went. Do I agree with the fact that Florida State should have won? I think they should have won. They won all their games. They won all
They
their
did. That's man. That's an argument that I've heard both sides of, and I get both sides of it. I think they should have gone. The quarterback got hurt, and then all of a sudden everybody flips it to, well, they need the best 4 teams.
Well,
that wasn't the argument before Florida State's quarterback got hurt.
No, it was. Well, let me ask you this: if Georgia's quarterback gets hurt 2 weeks before the end, and Georgia beats Alabama in the SEC title game, does Georgia go?
Of course they do.
Of course they go. Why did they go?
They're
because
SEC
they're in the
team.
SEC. So don't tell me
Don't
tell me the only reason that Florida State didn't go is because their quarterback got hurt. The team won.
Right.
The team did everything they were supposed to do. The team should have got rewarded. Now, would they have gotten their clock cleaned?
Very possible.
Possibly. If they'd ended up being number 4 and played Michigan, I think they'd have been number 3 and played Washington, and Texas would have been number 4.
Right.
My opinion. But I mean,
maybe.
I think Michigan's defense would have. Unfortunately, they had to beat Florida State.
I do too.
They wouldn't have beat them like they got beat in the bowl game when nobody showed up.
Well, no, but nobody was there.
Well, okay, you're right, but I mean, do you? Yeah. In a roundabout way, I think it should have been Michigan 1, Washington 2, Florida State 3, and Texas 4. That's kind of what I think it needed, just simply because they did what they were supposed to do. They won all of their games.
Right.
And that's what the criteria, and they won their conference title game.
Right.
While we're on that, let me ask you a question. I haven't asked you this question because I've held off a lot of this stuff because I knew we were getting ready to do this thing. Do you think we're going to still have conference championship games?
No, I think they'll go away. I don't think they should.
When? Why not?
But
why should
I still think you got to have them. I mean, I still think because you're going to go to a 16-team playoff.
No, you're going to 12.
12, not 16. Sorry,
it's 12.
12-team playoff. You're still going to have conference champions. I personally would hope they would stick, but I think it's going to limit some of your conferences from automatically getting those 2 or 3, 4 teams when you're going to follow into the Georgia, Alabama. If all you're going to take is your conference champion, well, Georgia would have got in this year, but still that eliminates that.
Well, that brings up my argument, or mine, not really much. My question is, let's say that. Let's say we still do the conference championship games. Okay, so this year it would have been Alabama and Georgia, and Alabama wins, and then let's just say Georgia loses. Let's say they both have one loss. Let's just play the old devil's advocate here. Let's say Georgia and Alabama played this year, and let's say Georgia won, and Alabama now has 2 losses.
Mm-hmm.
As a 2-loss team, should they not fall out of the top 10? If there's a bunch of 1-loss teams in there that didn't have to play the conference championship,
if there's a bunch of them,
Penn State.
Right.
I mean,
that's why I think they're going to get rid of it, because then your teams like your Big Tens they're going to argue, well,
sure,
these 3 teams here all have 1 loss. Why is Alabama getting in?
That was my argument with the whole deal about Penn State getting in. And I don't want to rail on Penn State, but
I don't like them.
It's just an example. Okay, but this is an example of mine. I mean, I love the uniforms. I love the black and the white. There's nothing but black. I think it's pretty cool. But to have them just get in just because they got whooped by everybody, and they got beat by Michigan. Was it Michigan or Ohio State? They played one of them. But I just don't think they had anybody. They didn't win it. I think they should have been. I don't know. They
shouldn't have been that high up.
I don't think they should.
It falls into, as far as I'm concerned, it falls into the same Notre Dame category. A lot of times they get to what they're going, and locally, I'm an OU fan, not one of the diehard. I live in my existence controls what happens with them, but OU gets a lot of preference just because of the name.
Sure.
So does Notre Dame. So does the Penn State.
Well,
because everybody wants them to do there because it's the draw. And then when they start to,
what's TV?
Yeah,
it's TV. It's TV. They get it. They get the TV audience, and that's where the money's going.
Right.
Unfortunately, this thing is going. I mean, how many years do you think the NCAA has left to actually be an organization? I
Oh
mean,
yeah, it's dwindling down
with
quick.
Big
It's gonna
Ten
go.
now, Big Ten and SEC both have what 16 teams
Yep,
now.
yep.
They have 16. I think that's what they're
I
up
think
to.
that's what it's down to. And the Pac-12's gone down to
6.
two in the Mountain West.
No, the Big Ten's up to 18.
No, that's right.
Because
Yeah,
they
because
added Oregon and
yeah, they took
Washington there
Oregon
at
and
the end after
Washington.
they got UCLA.
Right.
I mean, but I mean, they're going to have their own TV contract. They're not going to need the NCAA.
Sure, that's part of the deal. They're all going to have their
So will it eventually be to where there's no NCAA? I mean, I thought they were going to go out
I thought
a long
so.
time ago. I thought it was going to bail a long time ago, to be 100% honest with you.
And what do they, I mean, honestly, what does NCAA do anyway? I mean,
They make money.
I'm not exactly. I mean, I'm not that deep into it. Sorry, sports fan, but I don't dig too deep into that. But it's a money entity, and
they need the governing body back in the day.
Back in the day when
go again.
Back when you couldn't cheat, now you can cheat out in the open.
Oh, but yeah, but you did cheat back in the day. I mean, you look at the.
Don't bring up Switzer.
Oh, yeah,
let's not start there.
Come on,
we're gonna start with the cheating. Let's start with Lou Holtz. That's where.
Okay.
That's where
I'll go with Holtz. You go with Holtz and Switzer and Tom Osborne and
pick one.
Parsegian. I mean, all the way back. They were doing things they weren't supposed to do. They were paying players, or whatever the case may be, until it finally got called out on the carpet, and then here we go. It's all over, and here we're going to move on. And then they made all the changes, but it's still getting done. But this is what college football is today.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it is. This is what we got to live with. I love the game.
It's not changing.
I'll continue to watch the game. I'll continue to support my Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Yeah, go Alan Bowman. Year number 7. Yeah.
Don't see. He went there. He went there.
I was waiting for the right time.
You can't.
I didn't want to get off NCAA football without talking about it. Red shirt, COVID
he's got me. He's got me pissed off now. You can't. Well, I don't see this NIL mess. We're going to get into it on a later show because it's such a large.
Yeah, we could do a whole show on.
It's a large
opinions on
problem that it's going to turn into. But by giving these kids 7 and 8 years now, I don't understand it. I'm going to dive into it and try to figure it out, and maybe come up here with a somewhat. Oh hell, I don't know, intelligent or
it's great. It's great for the kid if they can hang on or whatever. But I mean, he's dealing with an injury year, a redshirt year, an injury year, a COVID year, and now another medical exemption.
Yes, and I understand that, but I understand that, and he's probably going to make more money in an NIL contract now than he could in the pros. I don't even know if he's not. He's
probably not going to get, and that's why he's coming back again.
Well, of course it is. He's not a pro style quarterback, and I just power to him. Power to him.
I would do it.
I just don't like the 6, 7, 8 years. I mean, I don't like them leaving when they're sophomores, and I don't like them staying until they're 23 years old.
Right.
I want college kids playing college football.
Well, and I mean, we had a conversation just a week or two ago. I was watching something on ESPN, and they were commending the kid for sticking around after his freshman year and not transferring. Like that's a big deal now. Now they're saying, "Hey, good job, way to stick to your commitment," and that's what I've got my problem with. And that's just the old me.
That is a huge problem. But no, my problem is the scholarship money. They're giving them scholarship money to go down there, and you're wasting scholarship money.
And I don't know how. I don't know how that works. How they come back to all that.
I'm gonna argue a point that I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm arguing for, but just for fun, I knew we were going to be talking about NCAA today. I went and found all of the records of all the teams this year and put them to where they would be next year.
Right.
Like I moved everybody to the new conference that they're going to be in, and had using this year's records, the SEC would have been a 62% winning for 626 winning percentage.
They'll be stout. They're going to be.
Everybody was over 500. All the big conferences were over 500, including the Sun Belt. How about that?
Okay.
How about
that? It's gonna be 5 teams in the Sun Belt.
That's what I'm talking about. But so what do you think? So what do you think about the group of 5 getting an entrance into the big the 12-team playoff? You think they just? You think it's right?
I think they deserve it. Sure I do. I mean, do I think they're going to probably win it? No, but who's to say they're not going to? Your Liberties or whatever are not going to jump up and surprise a Clemson or.
Probably not.
Probably not, but look at how NCAA basketball, that's how they've made that's why they make that such a big deal. Even with
NCAA
basketball declining in viewership or whatever, but that March Madness is still a big deal because you never know. All it's going to take is one game. Liberty gets off, or whoever.
Right.
I'm using Liberty because
they did this year.
They showed up this year and got the hell beat out of them.
Sure.
But who's to say they don't? That one of those teams does
But
with NIL now and the portal. You get your 5-6 players and you expand the playoffs, and now these smaller colleges or your group of fives are going to may have a chance to get some of these kids that before wouldn't do it because they didn't have a shot at anything.
Well, that's very true. That's very true. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's the system we have,
right?
And it's the system we're going to have to live with. I mean, I love college football.
Oh yeah,
the you know the whole atmosphere of it.
Yeah, behind baseball is my favorite sport. But yes.
Yeah,
I love it.
I mean, college football is it's going to be there, and this is going to be the new way to look at. You know, another issue I had looking at the upcoming schedules of making these super duper huge ungodly conferences. You know, I looked at the SEC, and I'm noticing that each one of the SEC teams this coming year, they're going to have 2 bye weeks,
right?
And they play 4 non-conference games,
right?
And I don't understand that.
Yeah.
You've got an 18-team conference now, or 16, or whatever the hell they ended up being, and why not play another conference game? Why are you playing 4 non-conference games?
Wins.
Well, but you're in this big power super duper
Right.
conference. Why not? I mean, doesn't the television contract tell you that you need to play SEC against SEC and just dominate the television?
Right.
I mean, I don't. I mean,
well, they're still going to. I mean, you can Alabama versus Mercer is still going to be on the SEC network. They're still going to get the viewership from it.
Well, yeah, and I
don't like it, but you know, it's another win. It's an automatic win on the schedule.
I think it's weak.
I mean, you look at somebody again. I'm going to go back to OU because we're here.
Right.
They're going to struggle next year.
Oh yeah,
but they're going to need every one of those non-conference whatever games they've got.
But if you look at their SEC schedule next year, I think the only team they're playing is Alabama.
OU?
Yeah,
that's not. No, they're not. They got LSU. They got. I want to say I have to look and see. I want to say
up on your phone.
I want to say they've got. I mean, they've been talking about it. Sorry, I got away from the microphone. I'm new to this.
Well, but I mean, I know they got Alabama, and it's late in the season too, so they're going to be the best.
Because they're already talking about they got one of the toughest schedules in the country already.
Well, I don't see there again. I can't.
That's because you don't like OU.
But you're in the no, I don't. But this is late 2023. I mean, 2023 season just coming to an end, and they're already saying they don't know how many kids are going to leave. They don't know how many kids are going to stay. They don't know how many kids are going to get recruited. They don't know how many. They don't even know the roster for next year. So how can they say that they're going to have one of the toughest schedules in the NCAA?
Yeah,
that's my problem with those prognosticators is simply they don't even know who all's going to transfer. I mean, hell, I read a story the other day that said I don't think it was Georgia or something. They've already got 12 or 13 kids leaving.
Oh yeah,
and 7 or 8 coming in.
Yep.
And you don't even know what your roster is. So how can you say how you're going to be? So what'd you find out?
Yeah, well, they've got their non-conferences: Temple, Houston, Tulane. They do play Maine.
Yeah,
they do play Maine.
I didn't know Maine had a football team.
Yeah, well, they do this year.
Yeah, well,
but they've got Tennessee, Auburn, Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Missouri, Alabama, and LSU.
Okay, so they got Tennessee, LSU, Alabama.
Right. Ole Miss finished in the top 10. I mean, they're at Ole Miss. They're at Auburn.
Ole Miss finished in the top 10 because they played a weak sister schedule in the SEC, and the only teams they played that are good beat them.
And they're at Missouri, and they're at LSU.
Again, with Missouri, the only teams they played worth a damn beat them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
but they get those wins.
Yeah, I know.
Because of that non-conference.
I know. That's the way the game's played.
And OU's going to struggle. Like I said, they're going to lose. I'm saying they're going to lose every bit of 4 or 5 games this year.
Really?
I just don't. I mean, I hope not, but I just don't think they're equipped yet.
Well, whereas now if I turn the page on that and I look at my OSU Cowboys, they're going to do pretty good next year.
Yeah,
because they got the new Big 12.
They should be in the top of the Big 12.
I mean, they're going to be at Kansas State. They're going to be at Baylor, at BYU, at Colorado, at TCU. But their home games are going to who knows what Utah's going to be. And their other home games are Arkansas, West Virginia, Texas Tech, and Arizona State. Will the Big 12 lose respect because of what's happening?
I don't think so. I think there'd be a lot more competitive. I mean, you're bringing, and we have our own personal opinions about it, but they're bringing Colorado in, which is going to bring a market.
Yeah,
You're bringing Utah is established. Arizona's coming back. Arizona's good.
It's got a good program. They always had a good program.
Cincinnati was good until they fell apart this year. But
Right.
I think OU and Texas. Yeah, I mean, I know in a lot of ways it hurts them.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to make it a lot more. It's no longer OU Texas than everybody else.
Well, no, it's not. There's more people that can compete for the title.
Right.
But what I'm asking is that you've got the power conferences with the power teams.
Right.
In your SEC and your Big Ten, not so much the ACC yet, but there's still jibber jabber about that. But I mean,
well, they're still going to be third, fourth power conference. Probably.
Well, they're going to be. Well, I mean, they're going to. I think they'll be just as good as the ACC, but they
definitely.
won't. But in comparison, both the ACC and the Big 12 are going to suffer by comparison to the Big 10 and the SEC, simply because.
Sure.
I mean, you look at the Big Ten. You got Michigan, you got Ohio State, you got Washington, you've got Oregon. Then you're going to have USC. Who knows? You're going to have Penn State. You've got UCLA. I mean, you've got all these so-called power teams of the present or the past that have the ability to get better. And I honestly think that USC and UCLA, well, even Oregon and Washington, are going to get more transfers in now that they're in the Big Ten and not on the Pac-12 because they're going to be seen by more of America.
Right. But the playoff is only expanded to 12. So you
correct.
Even if you get a USC who loses 4 games, it's not going to go in front of a second place Big 12 team who's got 2 losses. It's not going to happen. I mean,
well, that's true.
The Big 12 is still going to have a shot to get 2 or 3 into this.
Well,
playoff.
and see, that brings up one of the points I asked earlier, and I just don't know the answer to. None of us will till it happens. Let's say OSU has Oklahoma State. Sorry, let's say Oklahoma State has 1 loss,
right?
And they end up playing.
Wishful thinking, but yeah.
Huh?
Wishful thinking,
yeah,
but okay.
Exactly. And let's say they end up playing Arizona, who has 1 loss,
right?
And they play for the NCAA for the Big 12 title.
Big 12 title.
Okay, let's say Arizona wins. Now it gives OSU 2 losses.
Right.
Now, what I'm asking is that does a 2-loss Penn State get more respect than a 2-loss OSU?
I think it does.
And the answer is yes.
Yes.
And so I just think the Big 12 is still going to be considered.
When you look at it that way, they're going to be less than Big 10 and SEC, yes.
Right. I think
they'll take that hit.
I think a 3rd or 4th Big 10 team gets in the 12-team playoff before a second Big 12 team gets in the
If the record's the same, I agree.
the record is the same.
I agree.
That's what I don't like about the system.
Right.
That's why I think if they get rid of the conference championship games, I think your first and second place teams need your best record gets the conference championship, and your second best record gets an automatic in. That gives 8 teams in, and you still got 4 at large. I mean, that's my opinion.
Right.
And depending on what happens with the Big 12, the Pac-12, and the Mountain West, I don't know what's going on.
I hope they don't. Don't get me wrong. I hope they don't get rid of the conference championships. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they still have them. I love the conference championships. I think it's a good thing.
I just think they need to get rid of. I think if they're going to have the conference championship game, they need to get rid of one of the season games. I think.
Yeah, but I don't think
because I mean
too much revenue.
Well, and let's talk about the bowl games. Talk about revenue. Let's talk about these bowl games. Now, Pittsburgh just got a fumble. Let's talk about the bowl games as they are.
As they are now.
As they are now.
Okay.
I think they're going away.
Which is 25 scrimmages and.
I know. Everybody opts out. Nobody wants to play. Why have them?
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day. God, I'm really sorry. We're going to be saying that a lot. I'm 61. You're
53.
53. A lot of you watching this are going to be friends of ours, and a lot of you are the same age we are. And, you guys know whenever OU or OSU or whoever it was used to play in the Fiesta Bowl, you couldn't get a ticket to the Fiesta Bowl. You'd look it on TV, and you see every seat is filled. Same with the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl and all these other bowls. I mean, even this year, the stadiums are half full.
Right.
Because they know it's just going to be a JV game.
It's a scrimmage. It's a scrimmage, and it's.
I mean, do you think any of the bowl games are going to survive this?
I think some will. I mean, that's who's going to sponsor the playoffs. I'm sure. It's going to be.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
you look. Fiesta, the Rose.
I mean, what do we have? 25 bowl games this year. I mean,
the pinstripe and the
do the little
Pop-Tart Bowl's probably going away.
Do the little ones survive?
I don't know.
Do the little schools still want to go?
See, that's the thing.
Do they still want to go to a bowl game?
Is it still viable for a team to say, I got to get to 6 wins so I can go to New York and play the Pinstripe Bowl?
Well, they may want to because a team like no, hell, I don't know. Let's just South Carolina State or whoever it is.
For those teams, yeah, I think they'll stay alive for that.
Okay,
purpose, I think.
I think the bowl season is fun. But with the playoff coming in now, they're going to have to move those games into when the bowls were played.
Correct.
I think they need to. I think they need to give those to the bowls or make a bowl game a first round playoff game.
Right. And I think that's what.
But then again, they're talking about making them home games, aren't they? But they talking about
there was talk about it. I don't know if it's got that far. That would be stupid.
I think. Well, but then you say you
because then you go right back into that bias. You go back into they're going to get the 10 seed and not the 7 seed, so they can have a home game. I hope they go to bowl games.
Well, that'd be great if they could. They could do
and again, it's going to make it better because these guys are not going to opt out because they got a shot to actually win it. So these guys aren't going to go get ready for the combines.
Right. There's going to be some more. There's going to be some of those games now that will actually be worth watching.
Right.
Which is interesting to me. I think anything we can do to watch more college football is a good thing. So
definitely.
But the big game is Monday night, and he's picking Washington.
I think Washington.
I'm taking Michigan. I think Michigan's going to pull it off. I think I've always I don't know what it is about Jim Harbaugh, but he's always been an enigmatic man for me, and I don't know. Does he deserve one? Nobody deserves one, but I don't know. He's been through hell and back.
I think it'll be kind of funny if he does win it, just because of all the chaos this year. And
I know we need to move on. We got other stuff we'll talk about tonight, but one more question: do you think Notre Dame's ever going to go to the ACC?
No.
You don't think?
Why would they?
Well, with this playoff thing going, they may not get in.
They'll find a way to get a freaking independent something or other.
Well,
it's Notre Dame's Notre Dame.
Well, when the ACC put in Cal and Stanford, then they went out and got SMU, and that's still an odd number of teams.
All right. Well, Notre Dame's in the conference for football.
Well, no, they're not. They're still an independent. They're in the conference for basketball.
Sorry,
so
that's right.
They're actually part of
state independent in football.
They're still independent in football. Do you think they're gonna? Do you think they're gonna be forced to get in TV contracts around?
I hope so.
I agree. I think they need to get in.
So I don't think.
I think it makes.
If the NCAA stays in control, I don't think they've got the guts to make them do it. I think it's got to come from an outside source. It's got to be. You're not making the playoff if you're not affiliated with somebody.
Well, again, TV contracts are. TV rules the world. ESPN's ruling the world right now. And I don't like the fact that ESPN has a say so in who gets in and who gets out, but they do.
Oh, sure they do.
They do.
Sure they do.
They say that they're not sitting in the room, but they are. They wanted to see Alabama.
Michigan and Washington is not what they. No, it's not what they were hoping.
No. They'd much rather had Georgia or Ohio State or
Alabama
or even Texas. Texas would have been an interesting story.
Texas was a good story. Washington, like I said, they keep counting Washington out. They're
well, that's one reason. That's one reason on the outside. I think that Washington might actually win. Because
that's what I'm banking on. That's what I'm hoping.
I'm a big fan of the team of destiny thing.
Right.
2016 Chicago Cubs.
But that could go back to either one of these teams, though.
Well, sure.
Michigan's gone through a lot.
Yeah, Michigan's gone through hell, but when you cheat, you have to pay the piper. So, but everybody does it. You can't tell me they're the only team that stole signals. Come on, it's part of the game.
I give them credit. If you're impressive enough to steal the sign, more power to you.
Yeah, moving on. All right, let's talk about the NFL. Steelers are now at 14-7 with 5 minutes to go, so it looks like they might actually win. They're still going to need some help, though, aren't they?
They still need Jacksonville or Buffalo to lose. So Buffalo's got Jacksonville. I don't see them losing. Buffalo.
Who they got this week?
Buffalo's got Miami. Miami's got a chance to beat Buffalo.
But Miami may not play. They're already in. Why would they go out there and risk their kids?
I think they're still.
I say kids. Why? You know how these guys are. They don't want to play. They might.
I think they're still fighting. I think they're still going for seeding.
They still can. Yeah, they can get a better seed and get another home game out of the deal. So I guess there's a reason. But then again, when you get in the NFL, there's still. Thank God, there's still pride. These guys still want to play and win.
Right.
They really do. You see very few.
There's not a lot of quitting football.
No, there's not a lot of tanking like you see in the NBA.
No.
In the NFL, they get out there and they still want to win. There's still a lot of the blood out there.
Right.
A lot of
I say Baltimore's sitting most their players. Thank goodness.
Well,
from the Steeler perspective.
Yeah.
But
and it does. Yeah, it'll do them
They're-
well.
they're so good, though. I'm really thinking
Who is?
Baltimore.
Oh, I know. I don't want them to get there. I really don't.
I don't either.
I don't.
But
I don't have any desire
you
to
know,
see them.
Miami's the big story of the year, but they've got no. Their defense is not any. They're all offense. For
Well,
the most
Miami.
part.
Well, they are, but
Um,
but then again, if you watch, they're fun to watch.
Sure, they are.
Which.
Well, I would love to. I mean, minus the Steelers, of course. I wouldn't mind seeing Miami go, but honestly, I'm thinking it's I'd love to see like the Lions. Somebody new. The Lions are awful good this year.
They're really good. But see,
And-
but the Lions have that albatross on them that every time they get a chance, it's kind of like the Cowboys. Every time they get a chance, they get a good team and they get in the playoffs, they start moving, then they blow it.
Yeah.
And that's a Detroit thing. It's a Dallas thing. I mean, I know you don't want to hear this, but I'd like to see Cleveland go. I really would.
Good God.
I really would. I just want to. I just.
You got to get off the Joe Flacco.
I
thing
just want
because
to. I don't care if it's Joe
Flacco.
Flacco. I just like the story of. I don't like Deshaun Watson. I don't like what he's all about. I don't like the fact that they paid him all that money. I don't like the fact that they got rid of Baker
Mayfield
to get him in there. It just
Stinks.
it stinks. It's dirty. I don't like anything about it. Then for him to get hurt, and then you go get Flacco, who's retired. He comes in, and he just starts blowing the doors off everybody because everybody gave up on him. I love the story. And the Browns are a team. Bless them. They've just been well
for a reason.
I'll give you $1 if you can name all their quarterbacks. Over the past 15
Yeah.
years, but but it's one of those. I mean. I just like because again, what you said, it's different. I'd love to see Cleveland and say Detroit go to the Super Bowl. That's a 1950s throwback.
That'd piss off some people. But
19. Oh, come on now.
No, who do you think's gonna go to the Super Bowl? You got any Super Bowl predictions? I mean, me personally, I've been saying for about a few weeks now. I was going with, as much as it pains me to say so, I've been going with Baltimore.
Well, as it stands right now, Baltimore
and Philadelphia.
Baltimore, in my opinion, is probably the best team in the NFL right now.
Yeah,
I just think they are, but if I were a betting man, which I was in the past, I don't do that anymore. Bad idea. Don't do it. I mean, I'm looking at. I really think Miami's going to get there. I just think they've got a.
I would like to see that. I just don't think they got enough
At this
defensively
point,
to stop them.
if I had to pick, I'd go Miami. Boy, San Francisco's so good to see. Detroit. See, I think Detroit might be, again, I go back to that team of destiny thing.
I don't know how the CDs are coming out. That's my concern.
I would go today. I'd go Miami, Detroit, and a little bit of that is a heart pick, but simply because I want to see it.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I'd really like to go Cleveland, Detroit, but there's a little common sense here. But I mean, if I were to pick who's going to go today, I'd probably go Miami, Detroit, and then you see how the seeds go, and then play it out.
That would be my thing between Philadelphia and San Francisco. I think it depends on how it's seeded, where they got to, who's got the home field, or whatever between them. I do think one of the fun parts about this conversation is nobody's talking about Kansas City right now.
No.
And granted, though, they may worm their way into it.
Well, but what about Taylor Swift?
But Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl would be awesome.
You can't say Kansas City without saying, isn't she doing the halftime show?
Yeah, probably. I would say so.
Her and Travis got a new song out from what I hear.
I would say so. They got to do it.
Jeez. But I just don't. I mean, Kansas City's in shambles right now. I'm sorry, they are. They're in that point.
Yes.
Well, they're in that point. They're whining more than they're playing.
Right.
They're complaining more than they're and they don't know which way is up. They get a little bit of controversy. They have a couple calls to not go their way, and all of a sudden the world's coming to an end. And that's
it'll just be nice to see somebody else other than them. That's why I'm really looking forward to these playoffs. Yeah, I'm hoping with my heart. I'm hoping the Steelers. I'm realistic. The Steelers might get in, but they're not going to.
Well, I don't want your Steelers to get in. I'm tired of the Steelers winning. I've always been tired. I've listened to it my entire life. The Steelers. I don't know. No more Steelers.
Yeah.
I'm an Atlanta Falcon fan. Back in the
so there was no winning.
When I played Little League football, I was a defensive end. I loved John Zook and Claude Humphreys. I became an Atlanta Falcon fan, and I got to 2 Super Bowls. One of them we weren't even close. The second one we had it won going into the third quarter. It was over. Going into the fourth quarter, it was over. I was celebrating. I was running around in my house. Had my son over here. He was beside himself. He he's not a big nobody was a New England fan back then. But I mean, he wasn't that bad boy. I caught hell by the end of the game. But I mean, I'm just tired of the Steelers. I don't want the Steelers to go. I don't want the Philadelphia Eagles to go. I don't want the 49ers to go. I mean, I don't. I'm just. I want to see something new. I want to see
But
something.
that's the good thing about the NFL. The NFL is that one sport that we still got it's got enough parity in it to where you got the chance to see some different teams.
Yeah. Yes, and
through
we
free
do.
Agency and through others, and that's why I'm with
free
my heart. I'm
agency
hoping it's Pittsburgh, but
in the salary cap and the free agency and you got owners that care about the game. They care about the product that they're putting out there.
right.
You can tell by the things they do. They don't go around putting billboards all over the world just so they can pay another player $5 million to play shortstop, or $25 million these days.
I would say
$5 million a day. But I mean, it's done so well. The NFL does it so well.
Right.
They advertise well. Their marketing is spot on.
Mm.
Their TV deal is so good.
And the same thing can be said for the NBA. I mean,
sure.
Their marketing is
absolutely
wow.
It's incredible.
It's something that baseball, which we're diehard baseball fans, I will go to my graves to still say it's the toughest sport to play. Hitting a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, something that can never be duplicated. But
that's true.
They irritate me with the way they don't market and the way it's declined over the years because of that.
Well, they just spend so much money
on the players.
On the players, and they don't.
The union's so strong, it's actually overwhelmed it for
exactly,
some part.
And that's somewhere you and I agree.
Yeah,
is the overabundance of. We'll get into that at a later day. With baseball season's coming up. We'll jump on that probably closer to spring training and whatever. But
February 13th reporting date.
Yeah, baby. But with the NFL, I mean, you've got. We'll see here it is. We're on the last week of the season. And you got 9 teams in the AFC and 10 in the NFC that are still
got a shot.
Still got a shot to get in the playoff. If you go back 5 or 6 years, that wasn't possible.
Right.
But the way they are the playoffs set up right, giving just one team a bye in the first round. I don't know.
I like that when they expanded to 14. What, in 2020 they expanded to 14 teams?
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good. It opens it up. It makes anybody who loves football. I mean, it's just more football to watch, and it's makes
you play harder,
more competitive. They play to the end. They, you get your oddballs like the Ravens here.
Right. 2 minutes to go, they're down 14. No, hell, they're down 10. But they're moving the ball, so it looks like Pittsburgh's going to win one. But you still got to have help. You still need help. You can't get help.
Still got to root for the Dolphins.
Dolphins may not play their team. Dolphins may not play their starters.
They will against, but I don't know.
I mean, they don't need to win. Why would they play them? You're wanting.
I think they're still seeding. I still think they got a seed. That's what I'm hoping on.
Well,
then I got to hope Jacksonville gets beat by the Titans.
Are they in Buffalo? Or are they in Miami?
I think they're in Buffalo. Ooh, and Buffalo wins, they get the second seed, and they lose, there's a shot. They're not even in the play. They could go 2 seed or out.
It's supposed to be cold.
So, they're up in Baltimore, and it's the same thing.
Well, see, that's the thing.
But
the way it's set up, Buffalo, I mean, there's a chance they could have a great record and just not get in.
Yeah, which would be a shame.
Yeah, it would.
But it's just, I mean, it's
the system.
It's the way it works. It's how it goes.
The system works.
Take care of business. You don't have that issue.
Well, that's true.
So
that's true. Okay, so you're thinking, well, your heart says Pittsburgh, but your brain says Baltimore.
That's just my heart. My brain's saying Baltimore.
Well, Baltimore's a good ball club.
My brain says Baltimore and Philadelphia. I know Philadelphia struggled, but I really think they'll pull it together come the playoffs.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but that's who I'm going with right now. Anyway.
Well, let's talk. Let's stay in the NFL. I got a couple of things I want to pick your brain about. Let's talk about quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield. I mean, big OU guy, big 12 guy for those watching that don't live in Big 12 country like we do. He was at Texas Tech for, a year. Just a year or two.
Just a year.
He didn't even get to start.
No.
OU goes down there and drags him over there, and he wins the Heisman. Gets drafted into the NFL, plays with Cleveland, has no offensive line whatsoever, kind of like the Sam Bradford experiment. Still wins ball games.
Goes to the playoffs. Yep.
But they get rid of him.
Then struggles, and they get rid of him.
They get rid of him. He goes and he spends a little time in L.A. and then they end up in Tampa Bay, and here we are.
Yeah.
They got a shot at the playoffs again.
Yep. I think I'm going to say they're 8-8 right now. I believe. Yeah, he's got a shot at the playoffs.
Yep. Flacco. He's got a shot at the playoffs.
Stop talking
Wait
about
a minute.
freaking Joe
Wait.
Flacco.
He's in the playoffs. I believe he's won a Super Bowl before. I'm just
again.
Yeah.
So is Doug Williams.
Yeah, well, you're always going to throw Doug Williams out. He always throws Doug
Bubby
Williams.
Bubby Brister made it to the Super
every
Bowl.
time. Well, Bubby Brister, has he got a ring? No, he doesn't have a ring.
He don't have a ring. He made it.
Well, they gave away rings for free to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Is all I'm saying.
Well, they should.
But I mean, the quarterback has been tried to be the quarterback position is trying to evolve into something in the NFL. It has been over the past few years. And I just don't know if any of the old throwbacks are ever going to come back.
No, it's past that. I mean, look who.
But I bring back the Flacco situation. I mean, he comes in and he's successful.
There's some, but he hasn't played the whole season.
Well,
it wouldn't last the whole. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. The style is just not there anymore. I mean, Lamar Jackson. I mean, my God, Brock Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
Last pick in the draft. Look what he's an MVP candidate.
Well, sure.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. I hear you.
Tua. I mean,
Deshaun Watson. Oh,
yeah, Deshaun Watson. It's just, the old pro style. You got to be able to run now. You just have to. You got to be able to have legs. You got to. But look at guys like Josh Allen.
Yep.
Love watching him play.
I love watching him play. I love when Buffalo has always been they weren't ever really my favorite team, but it was always a team I liked watching growing up. And when they drafted him, I really wanted Atlanta to go get him.
Yeah,
I knew Matt Ryan was getting old, and I wanted, but Buffalo got him, and I mean he was.
But he's one of those guys that is that kind of that old style quarterback.
Yes.
But he can still run when needed, and he's
got good legs.
He's got good legs. He still runs, but he's not your. Yeah, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Lamar Jackson.
But aren't these guys going to get hurt?
Sure they are.
I mean, look at Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I was going to say Kyler Murray.
I mean, Murray was just setting the world on fire.
Yep.
Then he goes out there and he gets hurt.
Yep, he's all everything. But the quarterbacks that they're talking about going pro, I mean, it's all the same kind of guy. Dylan Gabriel, he had to transfer out. He's not going to go pro. I mean, if he does, he's going to. And then nothing wrong with that. I mean, look, we were just talking about this. Mason Rudolph. Pro-style quarterback, can't run to save his life, but he's serviceable. And
I mean,
he's a
whenever
backup.
When he came out of Oklahoma State, everybody knew that he was a good play caller. He's a good ABC quarterback.
Right.
He's a good system quarterback.
Right. Smart quarterback.
He can read a defense. He can check down. He can make a good pass. He didn't make many mistakes when he played at OSU.
Right.
Because the offense was built towards what he could do, towards his success. And so I knew if he got I expected that if he got drafted somewhere, he'd be a second team guy. He would be a fill-in guy.
Right. And I was there when they drafted him. It was a good pick. He was behind Roethlisberger, and that was the ideal spot.
Sure. And he played well the 2 or 3 games he subbed for Roethlisberger.
But that's all there is now. I mean, it's just your style, your quote pro style quarterback has changed to they've got to be able to run and scramble and be one of the most it's kind of switched. What's funny is now your most athletic and some of your best runners are your quarterbacks and not your running backs anymore. The running backs are.
That's true.
Look at what Belichick did for years. He just handpicked a running back and stuck him in there because that's how.
Let's talk about Belichick for a while. He's always been a thorn in my side, and it's because everybody thought, well, this is going to get me on my rant. You're not going to like me for this, but this gets on that idea of what a great coach. I get it at the youth level. You've coached a lot. I coached a little. I've umpired and refereed a lot. I've seen good coaches. I've seen bad ones.
Sure.
At that level, the coach is so important.
It makes a difference.
When you get to the junior high and the high school level, the coach is so important. When you get to the college level, at this point, the athlete becomes a little more prominent where they are coached up well.
I was going to say, I still think college coaches. I think that
they're coached
collegiate
up well.
Is still
correct. But when you get to the pros, when you get to the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, up here, they're a figurehead. I'm sorry, they're a figurehead. You're telling me Bill Belichick's the greatest NFL coach because of all of his Super Bowl rings? Well, How many did he win without Tom Brady?
Right.
How many did he win? And the answer's easy. How many did Phil Jackson win without Michael Jordan? The answer is easy.
Mm-hmm.
How many did Spoelstra win without LeBron? The answer is easy. I mean, I just truly think that professional coaches are given given too much credence to being great.
To be great, yeah. And I don't know what all. I mean, they were talking about it just today. They were talking about on one of the pregame shows about um, the drawing the blank. One of the playoff games, D'Amico Ryans being a rookie coach, and they were talking about everything they got to put the schedule in place, the practices in place, the travel in place.
So,
and I was thinking that same thing. I was like, okay, that's great. And I know they're the figurehead, and I know they're the ones that
sure, they
organize and they bring in the coordinators and they put the systems in place.
Sure.
But yeah, I think that's pretty much where you draw the line on that, especially in pro football. Pro basketball, I think, is the worst use of a head coach. That's just me. I just think pro basketball, they run the teams themselves for the most part.
Sure, anybody on the floor is in charge. I mean, anybody, whoever the highest paid guy on the floor is the guy that's in charge. You can't tell me that you're going to pick up a clipboard with a timeout and draw something up whenever you know the play is to get it to LeBron.
Right.
I mean, drawing something on the board doesn't mean any. I mean, at the college level and the youth level and the high school level, that's very important. Right. You need to tell the kids what to do, which play you're going to run, and I get that. But when you get to the NBA level, there's
right. I think the only place the coaching really matters in the pro level is baseball. I think because there's still game management.
There is game management. Yes, I'll agree with you on that. There are, but then again, still, I'm a huge baseball fan. Live and die by baseball. I love it. But they overmanage. Sure, it's righty versus lefty for he throws to one batter. Of course, that's changed now. But changed. But
that's gone to the point that there's too much coaching in some of that.
Yes.
To where, like I said, in basketball and in football, I think football is just more relying on your coordinators.
I think so.
Pittsburgh's a perfect example. They fired their coordinator, and their offense just has doubled, just because of a different system. Now, why Tomlin never looked at that or whatever, but your coaching. Your coaching is different in different sports.
Well, and I'll fall backwards when I talk about NCAA football coaches. I put them in that level of kind of not
Right.
But I'll take it's local. Let's go with Brent Venables. Venables is brought in to an OU team that was recruited by Lincoln Riley.
Right.
Okay. He's expected to take a Lincoln Riley defense recruit and make him play a Brent Venables defense.
Right.
Well, that's impossible.
Right.
Which is why they lost 6 games.
Right.
Because you can't take certain types of athletes fit into a Brent Venables system.
Exactly.
And so the head coach is pretty strong on recruiting and getting the right kind of guy to play in his system. There's a lot of film they watch. There's a lot of recruiters they talk to. There's a lot of assistant coaches are so important at the college level.
And I think that's why you don't see a lot of college. You see a lot of college coaches staying in college and don't go pro.
True.
For that reason.
Very true.
And why a lot of them who go pro don't succeed.
That's true. I agree with that because you have your guys that you have your coaches that can. I mean, we weren't going to get in the NBA tonight, but let's look real quickly if we can at the Thunder local team. Here's a team full of kids.
Yeah.
And I think they went out and they found a coach that knows how to coach kids.
Right.
They didn't bring in a top-notch guy.
Nope.
They didn't bring a rehash of this guy that's coached for 7 different NBA teams. They brought in a guy who knows how to coach kids.
An organizational guy, too. A guy who is with the Blue.
Correct. He comes in here and he coaches a bunch of kids who are still willing to learn. And
it's working.
It's working. In that particular instance, that NBA coach is a good coach.
Yes.
And he's doing what he needs to do with the type of kids he has. But whenever you get a team that's got 4 superstars and
Steve Kerr
and and then somebody else on the bench, and these guys, I mean, there's only so much coaching you can do when you've got those kind of guys out there on the floor.
Right. Because I mean, you're talking about LeBron. Just to go back, you can't tell me when the game's on the line and the coach is on the sidelines and he's drawing up a play that LeBron's not going to say yes or no.
Well, exactly.
And that's what they're going to do.
Well, they're not even going to draw up a play. They're going to say, let's
Yeah.
run. Let's run the 3-4 post on
Right.
the right hand side. And let's let LeBron get open and get
Right.
him the ball. I mean, this is
Right.
what you're gonna do.
Right.
I mean, it's just what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's wrap up here NCAA football and pro football, and let's just see is there anything else we need to get to on the pro football. We got Pittsburgh just won.
Yeah, they did.
Mason Rudolph, the Oklahoma
Yeah, they
State
did.
University grad, goes out there and takes care of business.
All right.
Okay,
now
so
officially become a Tua fan. Let's go Dolphins.
Okay, so now Jacksonville
has to lose,
now,
or Buffalo.
They don't play. Who plays not Houston and
Indianapolis?
Okay,
winner goes on, loser goes home.
So the winner does go to the playoffs.
Yep, winners in, losers out.
Okay, so
that's a winner take all situation.
Okay, so one of those goes
again to go back. It's awesome. It makes make watching it.
Okay, so that's 5. So what's left is two of these 3 go then Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo.
Right.
So Buffalo could end up not going with with a Pittsburgh win.
With a loss, if Buffalo loses, there's a chance if Buffalo lose. I believe if Buffalo loses, they're out, and Pittsburgh moves into that bottom spot. And if Buffalo wins, they're the 2 seed.
Well, what if Jacksonville loses and Buffalo loses?
I think that's another scenario that Pittsburgh can still get in if they both lose.
And then Buffalo goes in.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, that's cool.
But it's good. It's good for pro sports.
I like that kind of mess.
Yeah.
Okay, I tell you what, let's wrap this first episode up with let's talk about next year's. Let's go back to some NCAA here and let's finish up with the 2024 and what the conferences are going to look like and what do you think is going to happen?
You talking football?
Let's talk.
Well, what are you talking
about?
Let's
talk football.
You're talking football.
Let's talk football. It's almost over with, and we can go ahead and do a couple of prediction situations here if we want to, just on our first broadcast here, since we're ending with the national championship game will be. I'll tell you what. Let's end with a little professional wrestling, just because we can. It happened this Friday night. It happened this past Monday. The Rock came back.
So this falls into wrestling and entertainment because
that's right, entertainment
I'm sure
and wrestling. For those wrestling fans, you're going to want to hear this.
Even if you're not a wrestling fan,
The Rock comes back.
It made news everywhere.
The Rock comes back and he mentioned, and I love the part at the end. The speech was great.
It's great.
I was shocked.
It's good comedy.
Well, I was shocked that the fans in there didn't catch on
Didn't pick
until
up on
he
it
said
quicker.
the head of the table, which was kind of funny. But anyway, let's examine this for a second. How do they work him in?
They don't work anybody in anymore.
I know.
They're just going to dump him in the middle of it.
Well, but I get that, but he can't win the title.
No,
he can't win the title. The only way he could go in and win the title is if he relinquishes it immediately. I came in here to get Reigns out of this mess. I'm running this table. Here's the title. Do with it what you will.
I don't think they will. I think though you got the Rumble's coming up.
Rumble. Well, yeah. Then you got Elimination Chamber.
I think there's a chance he loses it before then, and then it's a Rock and Reigns at the WrestleMania
the rematch
because Reigns is going to go away.
Well, yeah,
I think he's going to take a break.
Well,
so I think the title comes off of him before WrestleMania.
So he doesn't go to WrestleMania?
Not as the champion. I don't
know,
but
you still got to get Cody the win, man.
Yeah, and you still can.
Yeah, but it's a diminished win if he beats somebody else.
That's true, but
I mean
they've already diminished half of his crap anyway.
I know. When you're going against Nakamura, it's a waste.
Like you said, they can't bring Rock in from movies and all the stuff he's doing and make him the champion.
No,
they can't do it.
I've just been spinning my head over it for the past few days of how they're going to work. I mean, obviously, they got after last night, you watched last night's show, SmackDown?
Yes.
Okay, you saw the big finish.
Yes.
Okay, so they're going to do a fatal 4-way.
Right.
Do they pull it off of him then? Let him not get pinned?
It's very possible.
And
that's what I'm thinking.
And Orton maybe take the title?
Yeah.
And then you go to Elimination Chamber and have The Rock beat Reigns again? Or does The Rock go against Reigns at WrestleMania?
I don't think The Rock does anything until WrestleMania. I think they hold him out.
Well, but have you read the stuff about Elimination Chamber?
No, not yet.
They're doing it in Australia. And Australia put up some big bucks to bring The Rock.
Yeah.
And you know how the WWE loves to be paid off.
They'd love the overseas stuff.
That's why we go to Dubai every year for the money. And so my question,
it's possible.
I mean,
I just don't think they leave the title on him for WrestleMania. I just don't think they do that.
You think they give?
I think he loses it before then. My opinion, just because The Rock's involved now.
Well, then he's got to lose it at the Rumble or the Chamber. Right. I don't think he loses it over in Australia.
No, I don't think he'll lose it.
So he'll have to lose it at the Rumble, in your opinion.
Right, in my opinion.
I mean, that's the best way to go. He doesn't get pinned.
He don't get pinned. You still stick with that storyline. It's still a good story you can stick with. He doesn't get pinned. WrestleMania, The Rock pins him. Reigns takes a break. He disappears for a while.
Well,
and Rock goes on.
Yeah, but then how does he become the head of the table if he leaves? I mean,
I mean, he may stick around for a month or so and crown.
That's true.
Crown Jimmy or Jay or one of them.
Okay, that's possible.
Right.
That's possible. But I mean, if you give it to, I mean, the only person Cody could really win it off anybody. See, Cody's on Raw.
Right.
He's not a SmackDown guy.
No.
And he's already wrestled Rollins so many times that it's gotten.
But you've already
disgusting.
Then you've built up the Randy Orton thing so big.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same thing like with the Rhodes thing. You're going to build him up, and then have him lose, and then people are going to lose interest in that storyline.
That's true. I mean,
they've got to hand it off at some point.
Well, they have to, but I mean, you'd think that WrestleMania would be the way to go because, I mean, he's already passed. I saw the numbers online the other day. He's already surpassed. I mean, the next person he's got to get is Bruno or Pedro Morales or something like. He's already passed everybody for the Universal time, but because they're still calling him the WWE Universal Champion, because now the Rollins title is just the World Heavyweight Champion, like the old big belt. So he is still considered the WWE. Universal Champion. They're still wanting him to have claim to both.
Well, they better figure something out, because for those of us who love it, and it's the storytelling that's so entertaining.
Exactly.
They better figure something out, because they can't screw this up. They screwed this up.
No. Well,
it's gonna be a bad
yeah,
deal.
they got to have a clever, classy way to finish this off.
Right.
Because Reigns of course, he's been on a break forever. He only wrestles once every 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, I think they said something the other day. He's appeared 17 times.
Yeah, and he's only had like 9 matches all year long.
I think he still suffers from.
I do too. I still think that
it's an illness still,
and they're trying to find a way to
and that's why I don't think. That's why I just think it would be storyline wise, it's better for him to lose the belt, not get pinned, than have him and then build up to him and The Rock to the huge WrestleMania thing, and you can give Cody the other one. I don't think it really matters at this point.
Well, at this point, I don't think it really does. But I mean, if you, I mean. Do you bring The Rock out at the Royal Rumble, have him cause Reigns to lose, and that way they face off at Elimination Chamber in Australia?
Oh, do you waste that Elimination Chamber?
I don't know. I mean, it's one of the it's always that pay-per-view between the Rumble and Mania that gets nobody to watch it. The storylines are weak because they're trying to build to Mania.
They've stopped something and they're starting to build back.
Yeah, you can't. I don't even know why they have it.
Mm-mm.
I really think they need to get rid of that one pay-per-view or whatever they call it, a premium live event. Whatever they need to get rid of that one in the middle to let Rumble go from the Rumble to Mania and let it build.
That's how it used to be.
But then again, the storytelling gets weak. The storytelling's been so weak. Just to catch everybody up, we're wrestling fans from way back. I mean, I started watching
70s,
professional
80s.
wrestling when I was like 7. My great-grandmother showed me the first wrestling match for the National Guard Armory, watching, Stephen Little Bear. He'd get hit over the head with a chair from the big cat, Ernie Ladd, and bleeding all over the place. And
mean old woman.
She thought, well, she was.
Mean old woman.
She believed it, so of course I believed it. And I've gone to live events. Hell, I sit on row B at the downtown Myriad here and watched Bill Watts and JYD take on the Midnight Express and Jim Cornette. I mean, we've done it all. We've been it all. My big deal, and same with Chuck here, we love the storylines. We love the soap opera. That's what makes professional wrestling what it is.
Right.
Since it changed over to sports entertainment so many years ago, and the internet, God bless the internet, but it's just destroyed what
Yeah.
used to be the true kayfabe of professional
which
wrestling.
which used to be the fun part of it is everybody knows it's fake.
Sure.
Or
Not fake.
hang on, not everybody knows it's fake.
Scripted.
Sadly enough, some people still.
It's
I'm
scripted.
sure
Don't
some people
make
still
me get a chair.
some people still bring it to heart.
I can't find a chair.
Yeah, but even though it's scripted,
I had a chair in here. I was going to hit you over the head with it.
Majority of people know this.
Tell me it's fake.
But
anyway,
they still. It's like I say, and I'll go again. I've argued this with people over the years.
Right.
It's no different than a movie.
No.
It's no different.
It's not.
It's just it's
if
fun to watch.
If you're not a fan of it, that's fine. But if you watch it on TV and you're a fan, that's great. It's soap opera for
adult,
whatever we are. But if you ever go to a live event, go and tell yourself when you walk in that arena door that everything you're going to see is really happening. Everything you're going to lose yourself in the world, and you'll have one of the best nights of your life. It's entertaining. It's so much fun. That one show that I went to down there and sat on the floor, two rows back from the ring, back when they didn't have mats on the floor. It was concrete on the floor. I mean, I saw more blood that day than I've ever seen in my entire life from the wrestlers and from people in the crowd. People in the crowd were fighting. They were having a few adult beverages, and they believed this stuff. It was great. I had as much fun watching the crowd as I did the performers. It was great. But if you can go lose yourself for a couple 3 hours in an arena somewhere, go enjoy it, have a ball. It's some of the funnest entertainment you can have. But back to what we're talking about, the storyline that they had Reigns doing, this whole family, tribal chief. And all this kind of stuff. It's been a great story. It's lasted a very, very long time. It's getting old.
Right. They've rode it as long as they can. I think that's what they've been building towards.
It is, and I really
the time for Rock to come in.
Yeah, I don't like what they did with Jey Uso sitting over in Raw.
Yeah.
Tag teaming with Kofi Kingston for some unknown reason.
Yeah.
They've lost the fire.
And I think that's why they brought it. Whenever they get behind or whatever, they do things like this. They bring in The Rock. They bring in that popular entertainment that's going to show up on ESPN. I mean, my God, ESPN's giving awards for wrestling now.
Sure. And I just
it's hit mainstream.
I hope that they finish the story well.
Yeah.
Because it's been this whole family thing has been great. The storylines ran. Paul Heyman is, of course, spectacular like he always is.
Great.
I just want them to end it right. Bringing in The Rock's a good call. They've always been teasing it. They brought in Rikishi for one or two bits.
They've teased it for a couple of years.
Sure. And I just think it'd be great if they could bring it in and end it right. And I would really like to see someone beat him clean and take the title and let him go take his.
And I think that's what their problem is. They don't have a transition right now because everything's geared toward that. So if they take the title from him, they've got to create a different type of story.
Well,
different type of line to go here.
Well, I think the only way they could legitimately do it and keep the story clean is to either Solo rolling on him or Heyman rolling on him. The Usos have come and gone too. That's not going to work for me. I mean, you got CM Punk coming in, who's a Paul Heyman guy.
Right.
I mean, could Heyman roll on him like he rolled on Lesnar for Reigns? Could he just roll to the next guy? Possibly. Could he lose the Fatal 4-Way coming up just so he can fight The Rock? Could The Rock cause that problem? Possible. The Royal Rumble. I don't know where is it. Is it in Pasadena?
No, I think that's where the Mania is.
I can't remember where the Rumble is this year. But anyway, I mean,
as long as it's not in Chicago.
Could they bring him in and cause issues there? And I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna. I don't know if that's gonna work.
I don't know. It's kind of interesting to see where they're going to turn.
Well,
where they're going to go with this right now.
To bring him in at this time tells you it's going to be a WrestleMania situation because this is when it starts.
That's when that match. That's when that actual match is going to happen.
Right, but is it going to be for the title, or is the title already going to be gone?
Right.
Is he going to cost him the title, and then Reigns wants his revenge?
Right.
And if that's the case, is Rock going to? Is he going to pass the torch and let him have the revenge?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I would doubt it. Not if he's gonna officially walk away for a while.
That's true.
And take care
That's
of.
True. Okay, while we're on the subject of that, let's flip over for. We just got a few more minutes here.
Yeah.
Let's flip over to the Judgment Day. They have been an enigma to me on the storytelling. On them.
They've gone up and down.
Up and down.
It started out so good. Then it kind of...
They still have the tag titles,
weak.
which they've got to split sooner or later, I think.
They will. Yeah.
Why they keep carrying 2 belts, I don't know, and I don't know what's in their plan. But hopefully they'll get there and they'll get them split or whatever they're going to do with them. This whole R-Truth thing is really getting too familiar with.
Yeah, you brought that up to me a couple weeks ago, and I didn't really see it too much, and now I'm starting to see it.
I'm starting to.
Surely they're not going to.
I really don't want them to go there.
No, that's one of the few storylines they've got right now that's really good.
Yeah.
And they're going to muddle it up by doing that.
I hope. I mean, Triple H. It's a known fact that Triple H is a very. He and R-Truth are extremely close.
Oh yeah,
good friends. It's a known fact. It's a truth. It's a known deal. Sorry, my seat fell. And it's one of those things that I just don't want them to muddle up what's going on.
Right, and that's another thing I say. Their stories are they're not there right now.
Right,
and it's I don't know.
I'm having a hard time getting. I mean, you watched SmackDown Friday night. I mean, there was absolutely no reaction to the old Butch and
zero.
There's nothing
Tyler
there.
Bate. And I think they were. I think for some reason they were expecting there to be a pop for that, but
yeah, because of the kid coming in from NXT, everybody thought it's not that big a deal. Rhea Ripley, God, what a performer! Every match she's in, she's in it.
She's something else.
She is incredible. She sells. She might be one. She might be the best woman wrestler I've ever seen.
She carries
as far as the microphone, as far as selling a hit, as far as performing in the ring,
making everything look real.
I mean, she is. Man, she's good. I don't know if anybody could ever. I mean, the match she had with Charlotte last year was just incredible.
It was.
Charlotte was so good in that match. She's not great in many matches anymore. She telegraphs too much. But for that match that she had, I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah,
it was incredible.
No, she does a good job.
But I don't know. We'll just have to see where it goes. Judgment Day's got their storylines get a little murky for me.
Right.
They're
almost at a stalling point.
Yeah, they need to get back to wherever they can go. We'll see what happens at the Rumble. So.
That's what I'm thinking. Everything's gonna flip and start to take off again once that hits.
Well, come Monday night, we'll be watching some Raw. We'll be watching the national title game, and we'll see what's up with that. And we'll get back next week sometime and get back on here and get results of what we had at that particular point in time. Anything else you got to go here on this deal?
I don't think so. I think we covered pretty much a lot of ground. Okay. Just to let you all know, so this is just the beginning. We're going to be covering everything. We got Facebook, we've got Instagram, we'll be on YouTube. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Let us know, good, bad, indifferent.
Definitely give us some comments. Let us know what you want us to talk about. We'd love to talk about what you want to talk about and get some. Our brains are somewhat synced on a lot of this stuff. We do have some disagreements here and there. Like I say, we're going to get into on some of the downtime, talk about some sports board games that we grew up with and some that we still play and some that we still make. Oh, by the way. Several months ago, I made a professional wrestling Royal Rumble game. Recruited him to do a lot of the research for the wrestlers. Took us forever. I meant to tell you, I found another 100 wrestlers.
Of course, you did.
That gets us up to about 400.
Yeah.
I got them ranked right now. I don't have them ranked yet, so might need your help on that. Yeah. But it's a good game. I mean, it really is. We've played several Royal Rumbles, and they turned out. Took a few changings here and there, but we make our own games too, as well as play them. So we'll love to hear from any of you guys out there that play board sports games. Rolling the dice or flipping the cards. None of that computer crap.
No. Baseball, football, boxing.
That's right.
Hockey,
baseball, football.
Got
boxing,
it all.
hockey.
Played it all.
We played it all.
Yep.
And now professional wrestling.
So
been doing that for several years. I finally got that sucker going. But anyway, we appreciate you. Appreciate you tuning in.
Yep.
Thanks for those of you who've been waiting for us to get this done. I know we've been telling a lot of you we're going to be doing it. We're going to be doing it. We're going to be doing it. We're finally doing it. We're going to be back here. Like I said, we're going to try to do this at least once a week, if not more.
Right.
If we've got
Yep.
more things to do, if we've got more time.
More time to talk about.
More
More
time
things to talk about.
Like I say, Monday night's national championship game. Good luck with whoever you're pulling for. We got the Royal Rumble coming up. We've got NFL playoffs coming up. We'll see what happens after this weekend. They'll start playing next weekend.
Yeah.
Playoffs start next weekend.
Playoffs starts next weekend.
Sweet.
Yep. So enjoy your football this weekend.
You guys, we appreciate you coming by. Like, share, send,
subscribe,
do
it all.
Whatever else is there.
No, I think that's
call
it.
your friends, call your family. Watch us.
Find some more topics you want us to talk about, even if it's not sports related.
Comment. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye bye.